with Sandra P's GenXtra. Hello, everyone. Welcome, everyone that's able to join me on the live. I hope everyone's doing well. I already see my moderator, Mama B's, in here, speaking to myself, saying good evening, Sandra P. Chat mods. Hello, Mama B's. I hope everything went well for you today. I hope you're having a great, it's a hump day, Wednesday. Sharon Gabo, good evening. Yes, it is evening. This is a rare evening live political discourse with Sandra P's GenXtra. Thank you so much. You're speaking to each other. Thank you so much, everyone that is able to come in during the live. And let me make sure I have a good backdrop for the topic. I started to put a trigger alert, but I'm not going to do that because it's real life. It's what's happening. We'll discuss it. Let's see. Okay, here we are. Everyone, that is the work of Navi Robbins. And he is an artist. He said he just started drawing. He did this after the election, after 2024 election. He said he just felt something for Black women, the 92%, and he wanted to do something. And this is the painting that he did. There have been many iterations of this painting after that. And I want to play a little bit of something from him. He spoke about it. He talked about how he actually started to be sent things with people saying that they see different variations of his work. And let me just put this up. Everything on my video is alleged. It's my own personal opinion. If I share any clips, there is a copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. So thank everyone for that. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. Any contrarian opinions are allowed as long as we speak respectfully to each other, which we have not had a problem with that. And I appreciate my moderators. When we do have a problem with it, they know how to handle it. I think that painting is beautiful. It describes everything perfectly. His name is Navi Robbins. And let me just, hopefully I can pull up what he said. I'll play a little bit of it. And let's see. He said that he didn't have any intention of monetizing or anything like that, but you know how that goes. People started sending him clips and pictures where people were talking about the work that he had done and sharing it, and they were making t-shirts and selling it and all kind of stuff. And so he had to kind of make a decision as to what he was going to do about it. Let me see. I know I saved him. If not, I'll just end up playing it from my phone. Oh, here he is. Let's see. Let me know if you can hear me. Just let me have a 1 in the chat, please, if you hear Navi Robbins. I don't hear him. Thank you. I feel like my Siri, turn off Bluetooth. Okay, we'll stop that there. Okay, everybody, I'm going to stop that there. Let me make sure. Siri, turn off Bluetooth. It was playing, but I could not hear it. Again, thanks everyone for coming in. Just click the like button. If you're not already subscribed, just go ahead and subscribe. So we hear him talking about what kind of motivated his work. And I put the link in my description box, just telling what this video was about. And that's kind of been moved since November 6th of 2024. We watch everything that's going on. Every day is something else crazy that's going on. But today, I just got caught kind of in like a loop, and I've been watching all these videos. There's 2 situations where we have 2 people that are gone too soon. One is Kyren Lacy, and the other one is Trey. Kyren Lacy happened earlier in the year, earlier of 2025. Unfortunately, this young man, he was a wide receiver with Louisiana State University. He took his own life. He took his own life after being accused of being responsible for an accident where a 78-year-old veteran was killed in a car accident. There are videos and everything to prove that Kyren Lacy was not responsible for that accident. There were two other cars involved. The one that more than likely was involved was in the middle of the accident. And there is actually video, body cam footage of a Louisiana State trooper coaching and instructing one of the people that were at the scene to give information that appears to be false information. So rest in peace to both Kyren Lacy and also Trey Reed. Trey Reed, of course, is the young student that was found hung on his campus in Mississippi. So there was no foul play found. That was by the first autopsy that was done. And then I'm hearing two things. There's a second autopsy or even a third. But we know that Colin Kaepernick has kind of like an innocence project, and he paid for the second one. So I'll give a little more information about that and this report is just as of 2 days ago. This is from BET. It says misinformation spreads as Trey Reed's family waits for the second autopsy results. It says Trey Reed's death on the campus of Delta State University, again, that's in Cleveland, Mississippi, on the campus, it sparked community concern and calls for transparency from investigators. So that first autopsy, nobody believed. Very few cases of young Black men hanging themselves. The country has a history of lynchings, and that is one of the ways that certain groups, non-melanated, melanemic, whatever you want to call the people that have something in them where they want to do that or want to taste that feeling. In 2025, that's still going on. Something has been unleashed when they elected this predator for the second time. This is allegedly, and in my opinion, now we're seeing more cases and situations like this. But I'm thankful that Colin Kaepernick's version of the Innocence Project has paid for this other autopsy. But the family is saying somebody went online and she's given a lot of information, but the family is saying they have not received all the information yet. But of course, unfortunately, I think we're going to find out what we think we already know. Nobody believes that was self-inflicted. So we'll see what happens. It says on September 18th, the Mississippi State medical examiner said Reed's autopsy results were consistent with hanging and no foul play. So the family still has questions. They hired lawyers to conduct their own private investigation. Luckily, they have a civil rights attorney involved, which is Ben Crump's team. And it was arranged by Colin Kaepernick has a Know Your Rights camp, autopsy initiative. Isn't that disgraceful? In 2025, we need to spend money towards something like that. Know Your Rights camp, autopsy initiative. So they're funding an independent autopsy, and this is led by Dr. Matthias Okoye of Nebraska. So we'll be looking for more information on this, but it says online speculation increased after they give the name of Crystal Muhammad of the New Black Panther Party, went online and claimed during a Willie D Live podcast that she'd spoken with Reed's mother about the second autopsy, that the family is saying those results have not been released. So we know what we think. We know what has happened in the past. We know our country's history if other people do not and choose to deny it and are actively trying to erase it. We know that is not going to be allowed to stand. So Trey Reed, rest in power. And my heart goes out, prayers, everything else to the family and what they're going through. And when we hear more about what this independent autopsy releases, then we'll be ready to hear I don't know what the family is going to do. I feel terrible for these families, y'all. This is a mess. This is terrible. The second case is Kyren Lacy. Kyren Lacy is a young wide receiver from Louisiana State University. he was bullied. He was treated terribly online. They lied on him. I was watching, I actually linked the link to his attorney. It's about a 40-minute video, and he is giving the information. This man laid out a complete and total case, just telling us what happened during the course of that accident. We see Kyren's green Charger. We see him pass, I think they said 4 cars, but he was also like a football field behind the actual accident. So he wasn't involved in the accident at all. And then also the attorney was sharing the body cam video from the state trooper. This person's name is Tyler Werner. So all I wish for Tyler Werner is that he knows the mental pain and suffering that Kyren Lacy went through. I was watching Kyren Lacy's mother in an interview. She said that when she was, I won't give the age because I can't remember, but she was a very young child, younger than 10. She lost her father due to suicide, y'all. She did. She lost her father. So she is actually a mental health professional. She's a counselor at the school system in, I think she said Houston, Texas. So I'm happy about that she was able to have that as a career and help other young people. And we'll hear more about what's happening, but I'm glad this case, I mean, the ball is in the court of, unfortunately, the local investigators in Louisiana. But I mean, I'm glad that the attorney has all this information. It was kind of heartbreaking. I managed to get through the whole thing, but he talked about the last time he spoke with Kyren, begging him to please clear his name because he knew that he wasn't responsible for the accident. But they were saying, well, he left the scene. He left the scene because he didn't know that there was an accident, that it had went on. This happened behind him. The lady that was involved, and then also there's a gold truck. You can see the body cam of the state trooper that was giving the false information to the person and trying to coerce them to give a false statement. And he showed the statement, y'all. The statement was kind of in the trooper's words, and where there's a place for the witness's signature, the man in the gold truck, he had to write refused. That man did not sign that statement. So lately we had Etan Thomas. Etan Thomas, he has a podcast, but he's a former NBA player. He used to play on the Washington Wizards when Michael Jordan came back to the league and went to the Wizards. So Etan Thomas he's all over this case, as well as Ryan Clark, formerly of the NFL, but he has a large podcast, the Pivot Podcast. So a lot of things are actually going on now. Let me see if I can show you the picture of Kyren and just put him on for a little bit. The officer's picture is on this. This is from Etan Thomas. I'll show you first what he says. This whole story is just sad. Lies, cost, and hate is expensive, but being a decent human being costs nothing. My condolences to the Lacey family. And then I won't read this whole statement that Etan Thomas put out, but he is just calling for Tyler Werner, that's the state trooper, the corrupt state trooper in Louisiana, calling for him to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. I hope another kind of justice for him. I hope he knows the pain that Kyren felt. Because now, knowing Kyren's mother and what she went through, what her father went through, is this still Mental Illness Month, y'all? Mental Health Month? You don't know what somebody's going through. For this man, the first thing on the scene, he's supposed to protect and serve, and for him to put out a lie on someone, disgrace. He's not fit to wear that uniform. He's not. But he'll probably set up a GoFundMe and have people funding his lifestyle. Y'all, if the comments stop, what I'm going to do is just go back and read them if I have any. Thank everyone that has joined me so far during the live. If you're Team Replay, go ahead and click the like button. And if you are not already a subscriber, please go ahead and subscribe. And I appreciate the new subscribers that have come in to watch a lot of my recaps and to also join me during a lot of the live chats. The live chats have been really lively, especially toward the Real Housewives shows. So those are a lot lighter. I want to play something for what we could have had. This is Kamala Harris. Hey, Miss Z, I hope you're doing well. That's the end of that. Let me take that out. That's Kamala Harris. I didn't get to see what event she was at, but you heard what she said, and she's correct. They're trying to make us crazy about all this stuff that's happening every day, every day, every day, every day. They're making us crazy, but she said these so-and-sos are crazy, and she is 100% correct. They are crazy. So those two cases, my heart goes out to the family. The next thing that's going on, of course, y'all, the government is still shut down. We watched the Orange Clown be in the Oval Office and say that there might be a precedent for not paying these workers. Now, you know, a lot of the essential workers like TSA, some of the other departments, ICE, some of the people are required to report to work, but they're not being paid until this is settled. I honestly think that Congress should not be paid. The Senate should not be paid until this is settled. They also should have their accounts frozen and not be able to access any of that money they've been able to make while they've been up there representing us. So that finally there was reports of thousands of passengers are being grounded. So there are air traffic controllers that are calling in because they've already been working as a skeleton crew ever since they were, after the election. We remember the South African went through with the chainsaw, all hyped up on Special K, cutting people jobs, making a joke about it. And now you haven't seen him. He's back at Tesla to save his own position and to save his own company. So we got a lot of people that are stranded. It says thousands of passengers grounded in Seattle, Pittsburgh, Orlando, Boston, Minneapolis, as the U.S. faces new travel disruptions. 70 flights canceled and 5,000 delays affecting Delta, Cape Air, United, Breeze, American, and more. So this is a mess. Oh, and then there was also, there's 4 college students. Remember, I started out talking about Trey Reed. 4 college students that look like the person that took out Charlie Kirk. I'm speaking in code. Are under suspicion. Of course, we don't have any names or anything like that yet, but we'll see what happened. Welcome, Ms. Z. Oh, you couldn't hear Kamala Harris? All right, let me see what was happening with that. Thank you. I'm not sure. For some reason, I can't even hear what's going on. I think I have my Bluetooth on. I want to look at it and see if that is what's going on. Let me make sure I turn that off. I do. All right, let me try to play that again. One moment. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, if we can, let me see. Or maybe I maybe didn't save that. All right, they're going around disrupting this lady's book tour. They didn't hire her for the job, so I don't know what they want her to do. She has every right to be on her book tour and to be out here making her money and just giving her side of the story, because there have been a lot of things that are said. All right, let me show this. This might be too low, y'all. I'll try.
So much about this moment that is trying to make people feel like they've lost their mind, when in fact these motherfuckers are crazy.
I'm gonna play it again so y'all can hear exactly what she said. She said what you thought she said.
Helping people just put a label on it, even if it doesn't change the circumstance. Because there's so much about this moment that is trying to make people feel like they've lost their mind, when in fact these motherfuckers are crazy.
And then you'll know what they'll do. They'll go, oh, why she talking like that? Why she's talking like that? Sometimes in profane times, you have to be profane. Or as Joe Madison used to say, rest in peace to the Black Eagle. I would listen to him every morning. I drive the kids to school. We'd be listening to Joe Madison. Sometimes he'd start cussing, but he would put money in the swear jar. And he said, you have to be profane to be profound. I don't necessarily agree with that. I'm not a big cusser. But I don't blame her for speaking exactly the way that she is speaking. She's promoting her book, 107 Days, of course, which refers to the 107 days that she had to prepare for this election, the time during the election when George Clooney and them, other elites, people that could leave the country, had other places to go, forced Joe Biden to step down and then put her in the place. But honestly, y'all, I was hoping that Joe Biden would step down during that time, or not. They didn't force him to step down, but force him to not run. I wanted him to step down, have her assume the presidency, and then run from a position of the presidency. I think things could have turned out differently. But now that we know they cheated, and in my opinion, I think they did cheat. Ms. Z says she ain't lying. I don't think she lied either. Now I feel like they did cheat. I don't know if that would have made a difference or not. But the scary thing is they are making moves to kind of consolidate power in such a way that whatever we do in any upcoming election, he doesn't want to leave. Thank God. I think the Grim Reaper is going to drag him out of here, him and his cankles, before anything else happens. And I don't think Vance has the power to have total control like this guy does. This guy has more of a cult-like following, whereas Vance and no one else has that type of cult-like following. I'm not a Gavin Newsom fan, but some people are so enamored with him. I don't know. Maybe he may be the one to take him down. We'll see. I don't know. So I had another story. You know, he just went overseas. He actually gave a gift to King Charles. They ended up firing the person who is in charge of the Eisenhower Library because Orange Clown brought a sword as a gift that he gave away. And y'all, it wasn't real. It was a replica. It was a replica. But it says the official quits over dispute over the Orange Clown's Eisenhower sword that was a gift to King Charles. Let me show you the two now. I remember one time people were criticizing President Obama. He gave a gift to Queen Elizabeth, and it was something like some type of an iPod. It was loaded with her favorite songs or something. They thought that was tacky, but at least he spent his own money on it. How do you go to a presidential library, take something out of there, not even the original, a replica, and then give it to another head of state? That's kind of disgraceful, but I would expect nothing less as tacky as he is. And y'all know he was over there with the sheets so stinking and orange, they had to throw the stuff away. Throw the stuff away. Let me see, I had a few more things to share. Oh, y'all, I don't know if anybody had heard about this.
We said we making them. Man, we heard you. Nobody will live with y'all dirty ass, no way. Keep your ass over there.
I like to start over again.
Well, hold on. Why y'all don't care? Man, take your ass over there and go on, leave us alone. Shit, this is what we been wanting.
Oh, excuse me, I didn't know it was on that person.
Why nobody won't live with us? Well, this ain't no fun if y'all don't care about living. Hell no, we don't care. We been wanting y'all ugly ass to go over there and live by y'allself. Leave us the fuck alone. I'm confused. Well, who we gonna blame when the shit don't work out? This ain't no damn fun.
I don't know if y'all know what that was about. That was about the whites only town. He's mocking them because evidently it was a failure. So nobody wanted to go there, including them. So I guess it's not fun if nobody wants to go there. Mama Bees is laughing. Yeah, and really the British staff, they're notoriously tight-lipped. They don't really come out and say anything, but they were leaking all kind of information to the press about how rude Melania was, all kind of stuff. So that was a mess. Dolly Parton, I don't think I saved that, but they were saying she had to cancel a few Las Vegas residency dates that she had. And she put a video out that she's doing well. She's just doing some checkups and stuff. You know, she lost her husband earlier in the year, and she was one of his caretakers. So she says that her health was kind of falling by the wayside. And of course, she's grieving. So I'm glad to hear that Dolly Parton is still here. I'm happy to hear that. And then there was another story. I wanted to take my nephew to the Smithsonian. Right now, a lot of them are closed. They were going to run through like the end of the week, but we're not going to risk going. But the Smithsonian received an order. They're supposed to prepare Space Shuttle Discovery for relocation to Texas. Now, y'all, why would that be necessary? It says the White House is seeking to move forward with the planned relocation Discovery from its longtime home in Chantilly to Texas. So I don't know what that is about. I'm not sure. But what they're saying, the Smithsonian and NASA, they gave an estimate. It'll cost at least 120 to 150 million to relocate the Discovery, not including the expenses of building a new facility in Texas to house the shuttle. So that's crazy, y'all. I thought we were on a budget and America was tightening its belt and he's getting rid of fraud, waste, and abuse. It's just a mess. It's too much. Too much. And y'all, I'll have to tell you, I'm getting so concerned. Speaking of Dolly, I brought this back in my room. I'm in the back room. I don't keep this here. Y'all notice she has her products out. These are the biscuits. They were on clearance for $1.50, so I got some. Now, biscuits are a comfort food. I have on like beans and rice, stuff like that. But the reason why I got those, I used to use Grands. And then also there's some local that's called Susie B's. They're frozen. You can make like 2 or 3 or however many you want to eat. So I was in the supermarket. I noticed the package for the Grands looked different. So I said, what's going on with the package? And then it said, different packaging, same great taste. So I was looking at the ingredients. Y'all, they have changed the recipe. It has some kind of engineered food, engineered products, engineered ingredients. So I was like, I don't really want to eat that. The scary thing is, what if they start kind of just sliding these foods into the food supply without telling us that it has those engineered, bioengineered foods, and then we don't have a choice? So all of the frozen biscuits that I was looking for that I usually used to get had some type of bioengineered product. So I didn't get those. That's what led me to the aisle. I was just going to get some flour and like baked stuff and just bake up some and freeze them. But they had the Dolly, just the prepackaged mix. I look at those. It has like enriched flour, this, that, and the other. It didn't have anything fake or artificial like that in there. So I'm just able to make those up. Some in the freezer, some in the refrigerator. So just be careful. We have been talking about being healthier anyway. Some people started gardens, all kind of stuff. Mine didn't come along too well, but it's something I still want to do. And if you have come in during the live, please go ahead and click the like button. And if you're not already subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. Mama Bees is laughing. I don't know if it's about orange cankles and them throwing away the sheets or something else we were talking about. He's such an embarrassment. I would be so glad to have someone we can be proud of again. I know a lot of people they would, anything President Obama did, from a tan suit to Grey Poupon, they would have a problem with it. But I know they wish they had him back. I do every day. I think I have one more topic, everybody. Okay, we started out talking with Kyren Lacy, talking about Kyren Lacy. This is Ryan Clark.
For something that he didn't do, and he died having.
All right, I beg your pardon. I did want to clear space for this.
1 second, please.
It's important.
Yes, guys, Kyren Lacy was supposed to be in the NFL. Kyren Lacy was accused of something and being investigated for something that he didn't do, and he died having to live with the guilt and the consequences of a guilty man knowing he was innocent. It recently was discovered that he was 72 yards away from the crash, that police and state policemen tried to coerce and doctor and use ways to manipulate statements that put this young man behind bars. They changed his joy, they changed his life, and eventually he took his own life. This was supposed to be a career, but at least he was supposed to be here. At some point throughout his career, I would expect to have said his name. So I'm going to say his name tonight.
Amen.
Kyren Lacy was innocent. Kyren Lacy should be here with us. Nothing will ever repair or replace the pain that his parents have to feel and his loved ones have to feel. But we could say his name. There were so many stations that ran the fact that he was being investigated. So I wanted to make sure here with Scott, we could say that he was an innocent man and at least know that he has that as he rests.
You and I talked about this earlier tonight, and I'll just share with them what I share with you. I can't recall ever saying something that made me react viscerally to the point that I felt like my hands were trembling to think. There's video that shows that this is not at all what happened, and that young man took his life. And so I will not say anymore. It's your thoughts here. I just wanted to echo.
Thank you very much.
No, and my apologies for forgetting that, because this is a more important thing than we're talking about tonight. Ron Clark, I appreciate you always.
Ron Clark, everybody. I appreciate Ron Clark. So I want to end with Ron Clark because I started with Kyren Lacy. I wanted to end with Kyren Lacy and Ryan Clark getting that moment during Monday Night Football to just speak his name and just hopefully let his exoneration be as loud as his conviction by social media was. And just my heart goes out to his mother, his father, his younger brother. Everybody knows his younger brother and cousin. They had an incident in Texas where Kyren had decided that this is just it. He was being tormented by a lot of people. I saw a tiny tweet. Somebody said, "Oh, I was wrong about the things I said about him." But I want some of these people to feel it because he felt it. And then we find out how his grandfather passed away. So you got to be careful how you handle people. You never know what they're going through when you decide to pile on. So this was just a little short political discourse with Sandra P's GenXtra. Thank you so much for everyone that came in during the live. I want to thank Sharon Gabo, Ms. Z, Mama B is one of my moderators that were in here. Anybody that came in during the live, click the like button. If you're in the bushes, thank you so much. If you are not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Tomorrow, I will be here in the morning. Of course, a lighter topic. Anything that's not politics in these days is a lighter topic. It's one of my Real Housewives reviews, Salt Lake City. I'm at a funny period now. We've got 3 running concurrently because we know the Real Housewives of Potomac came back. Real Housewives of Miami is on their second part of the reunion that's coming up soon. And then my review for tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. I will be here. I hope you can join me for Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Thank you so much, Mama Bees. Mama Bees complimenting you on my live. I appreciate you so much coming in as my moderator and being so dedicated. Mama Bees is dedicated in her unpaid position as a moderator of the channel, and I appreciate you. Everyone that comes in and engages during the chat. Those of you in the bushes as well. I appreciate you. Have a good night, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your hump day, and I will see you, maybe not in the YouTube streets, but I'll see you in the morning, definitely here. Have a good night. Goodbye.